used negatively.
Carly, you parked my spot. Where's your keys? Oh, you guys busy? Hey.
Shoot, we have to reshoot that again because Shay had to make a grand appearance. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mom's View. We're here at my house. Thanks for being here, ladies.
I can't stop laughing. I'm so sorry.
It's hard for me not to want to spin in these.
I know, me too. Shoot.
I know you start to feel like a child, like dangling your feet.
Guess what I just did?
What?
I ordered bar stools.
What?
Jinx.
I ordered bar stools and I ordered them in August and they got here right away. But they've been sitting on my doorstep. I don't know if you noticed. Since then. And I finally got a dining table.
I love your table.
I do too. It's so pretty.
It was really pretty.
So Casey put the bar stools together and I ordered the ones that are like bar high or counter. I don't know which one. And I measured and I meant to get the opposite. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what to do now.
Because when you can't stick your legs under the counter, you're like, ugh.
It's like perfect for Winston. Gage can use them, but he can't get out. So it's like, Mom, how do I get out of here? And so now I don't know what to do. I love them. They're so cute.
Just have Casey soft like an inch of them on the bottom.
It's metal.
Oh.
They're metal.
Well,
Wonder if you could sell them and buy the ones you want.
I know.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
Shoot,
but
maybe I should look at them because my counter's high. Is your counter as high as mine?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's an idea.
Yes,
I get your
sorry,
bar
I just
stools.
went right there with that.
That's okay.
What's going on with you guys?
I was going to ask that anyway, so.
We're excited because we have like our big ultrasound appointment where we get to see spend 30 minutes to see on the big screen.
Oh, that's
That'll be
awesome.
fun.
Is it 3D?
Yeah, our hospital doesn't have 4D yet, but there is a place that you can go. So I'm probably going to do that at like 20, 25 weeks or something just to break it up. But the 4D is so cool. It just makes it so much more real.
Yeah, you can see facial features.
Yeah,
almost.
I remember we had it with Cooper and he you could see the wrinkles on his, I remember seeing his nose so vividly. I was like, my baby has the cutest nose. So we're excited for that. That'll be fun.
And we know what Carly's having. If you guys didn't see it, go check her gender reveal videos out because I cried all of them. I love it.
That was a great day.
It was a great video. You did. That was a good idea. What you did with the.
It was cute.
It was a good idea, wasn't it? Yeah.
I liked it though because you know what, we'll always remember that, and it was I love surprises, and I was trying to draw it out as long as I could, and our family was just get to it. And so when the box didn't open, I was like, joke's on you.
And when it went black and white, right when it did open, I was just like, oh, that's not fair.
Just wanted to drag it out a little long. I just love surprises. People were getting annoyed, but I was like, I'm gonna drag this out as long as I can because it's so fun. It's like Christmas, you know? Sorry. What about you, Colette? Have you made plans for your next baby yet?
No. Well, I actually went in to get my veins checked because I have varicose veins. You guys know it. I've talked about it before. But I have varicose veins in one of my legs, and that's one thing that they've told me if I wanted to have another baby, maybe I should get them checked out first because they get really, really bad when I'm pregnant. Yeah. And so I had them checked out, and I almost passed out.
You did because it was so bad?
No, because it was just freaking me out. What they have to do to get rid of them. Sometimes they take the veins out. Sorry guys, maybe it'll make you squeamish too, but I was thinking about, they were telling me about it and I was thinking about it, and then they were ultrasounding my leg and he was pushing on the veins and I was like, I am gonna pass out right now. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm really gonna pass out. It was really embarrassing, but.
Were you thinking about, if this happens and I might get pregnant, do you think you were thinking about that at all?
I was just thinking about the procedure because they also said, it's totally fine if you want to get pregnant and just get them all fixed. Because if you do get them fixed and you get pregnant, you probably will get more. So I was like, well, maybe I would wait and do the pregnant thing
so
first.
bad, though?
They hurt when I'm pregnant, really bad. Well, we did have a topic today. No, I can't remember what it was.
Safety on the internet.
Oh, yes. We wanted to talk about safety on the internet because recently, we all know, well, maybe you don't know, but Kim Kardashian was robbed. And it was because she was Snapchatting from a well-known apartment or place that she lived, and she was Snapchatting the surroundings, I guess. And so they found out where she was.
I mean, it's easy to find people through Snapchat because you're like, I'm here at this place and I'm here right now because it's live. Everything that's going on, you're snapping at the moment, which is different from a blog because a blog is usually the next day or after it's happened. So you've been there and you're gone. I actually saw an episode of Criminal Minds that talked about this, and this was years ago before I had Facebook. And so it was focused around Facebook. And I texted my mom and I was like, Mom, you need to be careful with Facebook. You cannot tell where you are at all times, because they were stalking people because they knew exactly where they were going to be. It's scary. You guys
Or they
need to
would
be
know that they weren't
careful.
home, so they would go to their homes. Yeah.
Even now with like the GPS locator, it like makes it so convenient. Like, let's let everyone know you're at this spot, and it's like it will almost do it for you automatically. Like there's a setting where it can just like ping you automatically, and so it like updates your spot. Or I've noticed on Facebook, like if you do a post, I've saw like a notification that's like, we noticed that you're near Gold Gym of Idaho or something, and I've just like driven by. And so it's like your phone is almost smarter than you sometimes, and you have to be really aware, because it'd be a super easy mistake to make, you know, like, yep,
And
I'm
it
right
can
there.
be anyone. It doesn't have to be just someone who is known on the internet or a celebrity. It can be anyone who's watching this video. There are creeps everywhere, and you just never know who is watching you or who comes across your feed. And it takes one person, so be careful. Turn your location off.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of wanted to talk to like about that with you guys today, because we want to make sure, like sometimes there's things that you just don't even think about,
Right.
you know, and I guess what we've sort of learned, like we used to vlog more than we do like more specific locations and stuff before, and now we've just learned, like, you know what, there are little things that we can do. Like we never tweet when we're at somewhere while we're there.
Yeah.
We usually wait until after we leave, and we'll be like, oh, we went to this.
That's smart.
And different things like that. And I think with kids and having cell phones at a younger age, like what do you guys think we can do to like help keep kids safe in general?
Oh man, I think definitely turning off the location, because I'm sure it's exciting for kids to post like, I'm at this place and it's so cool right now at this moment. But I think making sure that they know the danger in that and turning that location off, like you were saying, because it will post it right away for them. And I think as a parent, if you're going to give your kid a smartphone or a phone, you have to check it. I don't think it's an invasion of their privacy if you are open and honest with your child. Like, I just want you to be safe. I want you to make sure that you're protecting yourself, and I'm just doing my job as a parent. I think that that should be a part of that trust. Like, you trust them and they should trust you.
Yeah.
So
I also think that there's ways where you can create privacy that's also where they feel that they have their own things that they get to have for themselves. I'm a strong encourager of old-fashioned journal. If you want to have something that you don't want me to know, write it down in your journal. Or I just think that when my rule is like, if you're 18 and you're under my home, like there's nothing that we should hide from one another. You know, there's things that obviously I'll let you keep to yourself, and I want Cooper to be able to come to me, but there's also things like just as a parent where your parents love you and they just want the best for you. And I think there's like very sensitive boundaries. I know parents who have gotten on their kids' social media and like posted for them and chatted for them and things like that, where it's like, who is this for, your child or for you? But then there's also things where maybe parents found things in their kids' social media that they didn't know was happening that kind of could have snowballed into a larger situation. And so I think that with our kids, we just have to be so brutally honest, because we don't really have that luxury anymore in this day and age of where we can live like that.
Right.
You know, you can't be too naive to any situation or think that it's above any of us. Like with Cooper, there's been times where I think I've really freaked him out. I'm like, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Just because you don't want to be that parent that's like, oh, that won't happen to us, and then it does.
Right.
You know, and so I just want Cooper to be very aware, but also empower him to feel like he is safe because he's aware and he knows the steps to take.
Right.
But sometimes I'm like, am I freaking him out?
I know.
I feel like that's a big challenge, because I feel that way too. Like, I don't want to create this what if attitude in them all the time. Like, they're afraid to do anything because they're like, well, what if mom said this could happen? Oh no. Like, I don't want to freak them out. I want them to live in a place like where they can still feel like they can live out loud and not be afraid of the world, but still be aware and conscious of what's going on around them and what they can do to protect themselves. And I mean, there is a lot you can do. And I've kind of thought that with like comments and stuff. Sometimes I let the comments really get to me, and I'm just like, I'm done. I hate all of you. I'm leaving. I'm not ever posting anything ever again. And then the thought comes up in my mind. I'm like, well, then what is that doing to me? Like, I'm taking away some of the life that I feel like I have to offer the world because I'm afraid, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. So I think just teaching them to be really conscious of their surroundings, and don't post the background of like addresses or things like that.
In front of your home,
In
your
front of your
school.
home.
Also, don't assume that you know somebody online just because you had a relationship online. There's a lot of people that pretend to be somebody that they're not. I've gotten several accounts of people pretending to be me or Jackson, saying that there's somebody else using it for a dating website. And it'd be really hard to be vulnerable in a place where you feel like you've trusted somebody online. But that's how a lot of it starts to happen. It's somebody posing to be another person. So I feel like don't really ever trust anybody online, just because you never know where that could lead to. Somebody could just be, what's that called? Catfishing, right?
Something, I don't know.
Something with a stinky fish. Ugh.
It's so crazy how wonderful the internet is and how terrifying the internet is.
Right.
Because it is such a good tool that we have. But oh man.
It is. It's very awesome. Yeah. I think the kids need to know, like, when they do have a cell phone or they're in your house, say, like, I can look. Like, I'm going to look in your phone. Like, just know that.
Right.
Like, I think that they should know that that you're out there to protect them. Like, you want to keep them safe. And I think what you said about being really extra vulnerable and open with them is important. Because, like, I try to tell my kids, like, this can happen and this can happen. It won't. And you should live life as if it won't happen, but be aware that it could happen.
Right. I mean, I just think knowledge is power, and I think the scariest feeling is not knowing what to do in a situation. Like, nothing is worse than if somebody was choking and you had no idea what to do.
Yeah. Right.
But if you knew CPR and you knew the Heimlich and you knew how to, like, save that person, I feel like it's kind of a powerful feeling to know that you could save a person's life. And I try to tell Cooper that same thing. I'm like, it's kind of scary to know that these things could happen, but how much scarier would it be for you if you got into that situation and you had no idea what to do? I'm like, so the more that you know, the more you can be aware and, like, know how to handle if it does happen. I'm like, the chances of it are happening are very rare, but it'd be way scarier to be in the situation and not know what to do at all.
That's a good point.
And I think, like, telling them over and over again, you can't tell them enough so that if that situation does happen, they're not like, what did mom say?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do right now? And giving them different situations and different ways to get out of them. Like, if someone comes up to you in public and says, I have a gun to your back, and if you say anything, then I'm going to shoot you. I tell my kids, say something, like scream and try to run. Chances are they're going to run too. You need to tell them different situations and be aware yourself as a parent so that you can teach your children, like, different situations and different ways to get out of them. So do you feel like you're more worried about these things because you put your kids on the internet? Do you feel like...
I think we're definitely more aware and, cautious of it, I guess. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, because even just trick-or-treating, like, we don't let them just go trick-or-treating. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, remember when we used to do it? Like, my parents would just send us off in the neighborhood, and we had, like, the old-fashioned pillowcases, and it comes back to, like, we just don't live in that world anymore.
Right.
And maybe it was the same back then, but because we aren't on the internet more, I feel like we hear about the stories more often, and so we are maybe more aware of what is going on in the world. For me, with Cooper, it's like I just hear about all these stories all the time, so I'm just always in my mind. So I wanted to find, like, a little more information that just so we'd have some more points to hit on that I thought was really, really good for a lot of us parents, maybe that just need, like, a refresher or just, I don't know, things that can help guide you. It says the first thing that we need to do as parents is learn the technology. I know I've had a lot of people, even in our church, I had to speak one time to just, like, parents about teaching them about Snapchat. A lot of them didn't know what Snapchat was or understood, like, what it could or couldn't do. And I think that that's also really important, is, like, knowing the technology our kids are using, and that goes for apps. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes Cooper will tell me, like, this video series he's watching on YouTube, and I'm like, I'm on YouTube, and I'm still like, who is that? Do they cuss? Are they good people? Like, we need to take the time as parents to look into the technology and the apps and the things that our kids are into.
Because even if you think you know, I don't know so much. Like, I don't even really know anything about Snapchat, but I mean, I know the basics, but it can be so dangerous. And there are also apps. I was talking to my friend who has a teenager. There are apps where you can go in and you can pretty much just bully people anonymously at your school. So we need to protect our kids, not only from, like, outside strangers that might harm them, but they can harm themselves from being bullied. So That's so good. We do need to make sure that we are staying up on it. We know what's going on. And again, that we're communicating with our kids.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's so easy for me just to like trust Cooper in a sense. Like he was watching, it's like he was watching that Five Nights at Freddy's, and he had just kept talking about it, and something in my like parental cubby was going off, like this red light, and I just was like, oh, it's just a video, like he knows better than to watch something inappropriate. And then one night I was like, I need to know what this is about. And then I watched it and I was like, this actually is kind of morbid. It's like a little bit dark. And so I just told Cooper, I was like, if it doesn't leave you with a good feeling and you don't feel like happy, then I don't think it's something we should be watching. And then it was just something that he was like, okay, you're probably right. And then it was really easy to be like open with him about it instead of being like, you're bad. Why would you want to watch something like that? Like I tried to open it up like, why do you like this? When I watched it, I felt kind of sad and like dark about it. How do you feel about it? And so it kind of like opened the communication barriers, and I felt like he could be honest with me. But I felt dumb that for so long I didn't really even know. I think in vlogs I was like, do you guys know what those Five Nights at Freddy's is? Because he was talking about it all the time. Yeah. And then after I watched it, I was like, not the best. Not the best. It's not like porn, but it's not the best.
Well, I think you handled it perfectly, because I have 5 kids. There's no way I'm going to be able to monitor every single thing that they ever watch or hear about or talk about, like there's just no way. But you gave him a tool where it's like, how do you feel inside? Like teaching him to pay attention to those cues, those signals. Like anytime you feel a feeling, that's because there's something going on in here that you either need to change or pay attention to or whatever. Like those feelings mean something. And so I think teaching him to feel the feelings and understand like, oh yeah, I do feel that way. I didn't think about that. A lot of times for kids it's curiosity. It's like, oh, this is exciting, it's different, and like just that curiousness makes them come back to things. But when they realize how it makes them feel and kind of how it affects them in a more deeper way, they can make a decision to change it. I think that's awesome.
Okay, the next bullet point says use technology to bond with your child. I really, really like that, because I feel like I'm on my phone a lot. I know Jackson's on his phone a lot. Cooper's on the computer, the iPad a lot. And it's like, back to the family basics, like we do need to spend more time together, and we do need to be more in our kids' lives. And so why don't we bond that gap with, like, if we're all gonna be on our phone, let's use it for a good thing and maybe find something in common that we can all use. Or if your kids are on social media, get on social media and follow them and be their friend. And if they have nothing to hide, then they shouldn't. That's how I feel. Like when I was on AOL and all those things, like my mom knew my passwords, and I always felt like confident because I knew I wasn't hiding anything. And I knew that she wouldn't ever find something that would make me look bad or feel bad for what I was doing.
I think it can be so much fun too. Braylee started an Instagram. She wasn't supposed to.
I love when she posts.
But I loved following her. Like, to see your kids' personalities outside of your family and, the personalities that they add to your home is just so much fun. And she was so hilarious. And the things that she would post just made me happy and proud of her. And so it's so fun to get to know your kids on such a different level that I'm excited for that. I mean, of course, I'm nervous about some things, but I am really excited about that.
Yeah. Plus, again, like we don't have to use this as such a bad thing. It can be another avenue of creativity, especially where we all do it. How can our kids not be semi-interested in doing what we're doing, or want that? But what do you think?
I was trying to think of ways that I'm like, how do I bond with the kids through, I mean, we obviously watch videos together all the time. Like that's one way. But I was thinking I feel like that's the reason I tried to learn the video games that they're playing, because it's really frustrating for me, and it's really hard because I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I can't get it. I feel like, oh, how could I do this when I was 13 and now I can't, it's just different. But I tried to learn like Rocket League and stuff like that. So I think just trying to let down your walls and be like, you know what, I can try what they're doing and at least show interest in it. Like you were saying with like, was it you that were saying like Halo guys, like Gage was interested in Halo guys, and you're like, I don't know, but I'm going to try to understand this. Like just trying to be interested in what they are, and even if you're not, at least be appreciative of their interest in it and show them that.
This next one says, have a plan of action. Are you learning the technology? It's important to remember the top 3 actions to take when your child is engaged in social media. Technology is important to your child. So understanding that your kids need to use it. It's probably in the school. All their peers are using it. So
yeah, that's a good point. Gavin actually was like, Mom, because I turned the internet off on his phone. He's like, Mom, can you please turn this back on? I need it for school. I'm like, no, you don't. And he's like, I do actually. And I called your mom and I'm like, do they need this for school? And she goes, actually, the teachers ask them to look up stuff all the time. And I'm like, what?
During class?
During class. Be
yeah,
like, pull out
it's
your
gone to a
phones and
place where
look up
like
this.
when I worked at the schools, like if you saw a phone, there was like a zero tolerance policy, like you take it away. And now,
And in some classes there are.
Yeah.
Like some classes you can't use it.
yeah, but now teachers are encouraging it, which it's like, why fight against it if that's what's, like I think it's like Shay said, the internet's like a moral. It's like a brick. You can use it as a good thing or you can use it as a bad thing. But so have a plan of action. Open conversations are necessary. So engage in open and trusting conversations with your kids about technology. Let them tell you, show you, and teach you. Reacting with anger or shock to things you might see could result in your kids closing down conversations. Try to stay calm and ask questions. Together you can agree on rules. However, don't automatically assume that kids are using a questionable service in a wrong way simply because there is a lot of information online about that service being used negatively. Do keep an eye open and make sure you are neither naive or ignorant about the social media. I like that one.
I think also owning your own vulnerability, like because you don't know about it can make you react in a way, or maybe because you know too much about it, you can react in a way that is not going to help open up the line of communication. I think it's your reaction that's going to have everything to do with whether they, respond in a positive way or a negative way. Like if you blow up and immediately get mad at them, they're going to feel like misunderstood, and maybe they weren't doing anything bad, maybe they were, but either way, they're not going to open up to you because they already know you're mad about it. So I think that's good. Like owning your own vulnerability and like checking yourself before you respond to them. Like, why am I feeling this way? How do I really need to respond? How do I want to respond? And then choose accordingly. But like,
and I think we know our children. I like that you said about researching it, but also like taking it knowing that it can be different, even if it says like all of these bad things. Like Snapchat has a bad rap for like people sending naughty pictures to each other because they are erased right away or something. It doesn't mean that your child is going to do that.
Right. Or maybe they don't even know that that's what the main use has been or what like the reviews are.
Right. But then again, I feel like I'm very open with Braylee, and I have told her, like, I know right now this might seem crazy, but people do take these pictures and they're inappropriate and they get spread around so easily. Like, I know that that's crazy, but you have to be aware of these things that are going to happen. When she was getting ready to go into middle school, I was thinking of all of the like rumors that went around about people and all of the crazy things that we do because we're just like, we're curious and we're learning. And I was like, these things can happen and it's hard to talk about, but I just feel like it's so important to make them aware.
it is. I agree.
It's scary. It's scary, but I feel like the more we talk about it and the more open we are and the more information we have, the more power we have to help our kids. A couple more things that I found was there's actually like different routers and apps you can have in your home or within your mobile devices. This one was Clean Router, and it can, it's simple and easy to use. It doesn't slow down your internet. It has a 7-layer internet filter. It logs all activity per device. So that's like also like a nice thing. Maybe if you want to check up on the apps or the devices being used, it logs all that information so you can go through and kind of like backtrack. And I know that some people feel weary about that because it's like there should be privacy. But I think like my phone's really open in the home. I know Jackson's passwords. He knows mine. Our computer is in a place where everyone can see what's going on. I feel like that should be open access and information. There's nothing that I hide on my phone from Cooper, and I feel like if he's going to have those devices, it should be the same way. Right. And we should have open communication. It also says there's time restrictions, so maybe if your kids are just addicted, you can set a time restriction. They can send email reports, they can block keywords, and now it filters YouTube, which is a new thing. So that was a cool thing that I read about, and that was from Clean Routers.
That's very cool. Yeah, I want one.
I know, right? Just to have that peace of mind that honestly, like there's been times where I've been on the internet not looking for anything inappropriate at all, and things will come up just because there are people who are smart and they know how to make them come up in a search or use a certain tag or keyword. And you know, heaven forbid that, like, there's people I've had to unfollow, I feel like, just because of things that they'll post, that it's like, if Cooper or Jackson were using my phone, I wouldn't appreciate them having to see that.
Right. Yep.
And there might be things that I post about shoes or selfies, who knows what, that I'm sure people are like, oh, this is annoying. But I also think we have to, like, ourselves as parents choose what we watch and what we view, because it's like, if we don't want our kids doing that, then we probably shouldn't be doing that.
All right, well, that's it for our episode today. Let us know in the comments below any tips or tricks that you guys have for keeping kids safe or keeping yourself safe with phones, technology, and just in life. We would love to hear it. And as always, like, favorite, subscribe, and we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.